All right, so here we are in August, and I don't know about you, Larry, but not a lot different than July, and I think July not a lot different than June.
No, I'd agree. We're in that sleepy summer slumber right now when it comes to real estate. And I mean, it's obviously seasonal we're dealing with, but also at the
Hmm.
same time, there's a lot of factors coming into play here. We had a couple interest rate drops over the course of summer, lots of chatter out there about more coming. That hasn't prompted the market to pick up at all. But yeah, it's been pretty quiet. I think we're getting more and more inventory buildup out there, and sales have not kept pace with that. So it's starting to put downward pressure there for now on pricing, which obviously
Yeah.
buyers like to see, but sellers are not adjusting accordingly.
Well, and the price improvements that we have seen in many cases haven't been enough to pull buyers back off the sidelines.
No.
So, as you said, we're seeing increased listings, days on market are longer, and frankly, I think there's some pretty good deals out there, but
Yeah, I agree.
the two rate cuts, as you said, haven't had much effect. There's speculation we'll get another one on September 4th. I hope we do. But
I'd
you
love
know
to see
what?
a half a point come on September 4th. That'd make a big difference, I think, with school,
Oh, half a point
kicking.
for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
if
be
we can hit
surprised if
that
that
half a point,
happens.
that'll put us at a full point so far since end of June or mid June. Um, that'll have a big impact. Compound that with the fact that kids are back to school, vacations are all over, people's lives are getting back to some normalcy. I hope to God we hit that point where the market starts to come back and we start to see again. It's a seasonal increase again in the
Yeah.
fall, but this may be a little bit of kick that it needs to get some momentum going.
Yeah, I'm hoping the same thing, and usually by about mid-September, when classes are back in session, kids are back in school, work is kind of back to normal routine. At that point, we do usually see an uptick in activity, and I hope that happens. That rate announcement on September 4th will coincide really nicely with that seasonal trend, assuming it plays out. And then there's two more rate announcements remaining for this year. Most major economists and heads of banks and whatnot of all are still to this point projecting that there'll be rate cuts at each of them. So two or three more rate cuts this year. I
And the
hope
good
that
news is
happens.
Well, the good news is, as well as that the U.S., we had a bit of a financial blip there about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago with the
Yeah,
stock markets and that. It bounced back, which kind of tempered things a little bit. But there's a lot of signaling coming out of the U.S. that the Fed is looking at cutting as well, and that's been something that's been delaying, and it's been playing havoc on the Canadian market because of the effect it has on our exchange rate. So if the Fed makes a
yeah.
cut on September 24th, that could certainly impact what happens here in Canada as well in a positive.
Well, they've been talking, especially when we saw the markets dip a couple weeks back. There was talk of an emergency rate announcement down there, and of course that didn't happen. But
Well,
it's
the market
widely,
bounced back so quickly, right? I mean, the Nikkei in Japan
yeah.
has been driving a lot of it. That bounced back, which again, that saved the markets from any kind of major collapse. I think what you said earlier, though, John, like right now is a really good time if you're a buyer. There's a lot of deals out there to be had. And I mean, my
Mhm.
own listings that I have out there, my own clients, I've been telling them to sit tight on their pricing. Don't be doing any major drastic reductions because, quite frankly, right now, there just isn't that volume of buyers. They've hit that slumber. When I talk to mortgage brokers, they tell me the same thing over and over again that, listen, I'm sitting on stacks and stacks of pre approvals here that are ready to go,
Yeah.
but the buyers just aren't buying. And I think, as a buyer, there's a lot of sellers out there right now that are under pressure and they're looking to sell. And it may be a good time to beat that market rush if you're looking to buy, to do that now. And then maybe if you've got to sell on the back end after that announcement September 4th, that may be a time to be on the market. So my messaging and what I've been telling my clients along the way is you don't necessarily be on the market today. I would not list now. If I'm not already on the market, I wouldn't be in a rush to get on the market today. I'm
No.
telling people get ready, get your house ready, get your photography done. Let's get everything ready to go because once that announcement happens on September 4th, you want to be out of the gate early. You want to beat everybody else. You don't want to be chasing the market. You don't want to hit
Right.
September 4th or 5th or 10th or whatever and start to see that market change. And now all of a sudden you got to get the house ready, you got to stage, you got to do photography, and all of a sudden you're into the first week of October. Do
Yeah,
the
and
work
you might
now.
have missed the window.
Exactly. Do the work
Yeah.
now. Have everything ready to go. We can have your listing ready to go. And when we see that flip, then you hit the go button and we're on the market. And you're out there
Yeah.
with the front end, not the back end.
Well, and on the buy side, if you want to get ahead of those bumps, if it's expected that you're going to, sorry, that a rate cut will prompt more activity, which usually leads to higher prices. You want to be ahead of that. And,
Absolutely.
when there's deals out there, and it's, oftentimes when you look at seasonality, you look at times like August or say December or January, those typically low activity periods. Often, your choice is a bit more minimal. You don't have as much to choose from, but that's not the case today. There is a
No,
ton
it's
of
not.
listings out there. There is a lot of homes available and a lot of really nice places at pretty attractive prices.
I agree. I mean, we've seen a big jump in inventory levels and sales haven't kept up. So there's variety out there today. It may not be the exact house you're looking for, but
It never
there's
is.
more opportunity today to find that house than when all of a sudden you got 10 other people competing to buy the house that you want. So
Yeah.
I've been surprised. I've had a few clients along the way that we've been able to do some really short reactive moves where we got bought and sold in a really short window of time. And they got the place they wanted, they got the price they wanted on their place, and it all came together quickly. But they were very prepared from the go. They didn't sit back and drag their heels, and we were able to get out there and compete with a firm offer to get the business, to get the deal done. So if
Well,
there's
and
opportunity there, you need to be prepared to react.
that's just, you hit the nail on the head. When the opportunity is there, you got to be ready. And
Absolutely.
so, like you said, get the listing ready, get your financing in order for the purchase, and when that opportunity presents itself, be ready to strike.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to see. Like when we sit down here in 30 days to do this again, I think we're going to be seeing not necessarily complete flipping in the market, but I think we're going to be talking a different story.
Well, we've been, the last 3-4 months that we've put these videos out, it's been mostly the same story. You
Yeah,
know, low sales, high amount of listings, and minimal activity. And I hope with that rate cut September 4th, the tune of this video is a little different next time around. But
I'm
I
willing to
think
bet we're going to hit a different direction. So
I think so too. I mean, there'll be a more there'll be a different story to
yes.
some extent that we'll be sharing then, and I'm looking forward to.
So if I got any advice to anybody out there, I guess right now who is thinking of buying or selling, as much as you want to enjoy the rest of the summer and everything else, at least put a plan together and be ready because September is around the corner. We're less than 2 weeks away, and I
Yeah.
think we're going to see a profound shift in, if anything, in activity from a showing perspective in that. And people are going to get to a point where they're ready to make that move, especially if they get relief on that interest rate. That's going to make a huge difference.
Cost of borrowing is so high right now, and inflation, prices of everything, cost of living is high. So it'll
Now,
be
the flip
a
side to all of
welcome
that as
change.
well is a lot of people are very aware that all these low mortgage rates that were given out in 2020 and 2021, they're coming up for renewal, coming into 2025 and 2026. So there's going to be a lot of people out there that are signing at high mortgages at higher rates. Their
Yeah.
equity position is down because they bought at the high end of the market. And that's probably going to increase the amount of inventory that's out there, which obviously more inventory than the market can absorb puts downward pressure on pricing. So there's a lot of things to consider in all of this, and it's a matter of things are going to fall in place according to what the trends are showing.
Yeah, absolutely. So until next month, happy selling. I hope I know we'll be chatting. We chat frequently in between these videos. I'm
Yeah,
sure over the next
for sure.
2 weeks before we get as we lead up to September 4th, and in the days after, there'll be some interesting chats.
Absolutely. So all the best, and we'll get back to this and see if we got a different story to tell in 30 days.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you then.
Sure.